You've seen those clips of celebrities going into the Criterion closet, right? Literally, the biggest reason why I would like to be famous one day is to get invited into that damn closet. For anybody who has any ounce of movie geek in them, you know that Criterions are the ultimate trophy and the ultimate source of validation for any movie lover. Classics of all eras and all genres are represented by Criterion. Instead of just fantasizing about being invited into one of those famous Criterion closets and waiting for the day when that phone call happens, I thought I would just walk you guys through my Criterion collection. Some of these are my favorite films. Some of them were blind buys. Some of them are absolute treasured items in my house. And the thing about Criterion is interesting because it doesn't always correlate exactly with the quality of the movie or how much I love the movie. You know, my favorite Criterion releases aren't always proportional to my favorite films that are on Criterion. And we'll get into good examples of that as we go along. But the supplemental content, and especially the packaging of a Criterion release, can honestly make or break as far as my decision to actually put my money down and buy it. Because let me tell you, if I'm going into the Barnes & Noble's half-off sale for Criterion movies, which I always do, and I have to pick between a movie I love truly and deeply, which just has one of those standard plastic cover cases, and then a movie that I like that has one of those really swell digibooks, I think you know which ones I'm getting at. So I'm going to go ahead and start, and be warned, I've just been through a big move, so I've tried to put my Criterions back in alphabetical order before this video, which I probably should have checked more carefully. Maybe I can just do some movie magic, some little fix it in post stuff to rearrange things alphabetically if I've slipped up here. But with that being said, let's go on to the first movie. Next, and this is an important one, this is a big one, this is I better get the side right. This is Andrei Rublev by Andrei Tarkovsky, a name that will reappear throughout this video. You know, every country has that filmmaker who has transcended any kind of cultural barriers and has become, this kind of gargantuan representative of that country's, film industry. Japan, Kurosawa. Italy, Fellini. And that's what Tarkovsky represents for Russia, and more specifically the Soviet Union, although he would end up defecting from them. And you can really understand why when you read about the history of Andrei Rublev. It took the skill of a once-in-a-lifetime talent to execute under the pressures that Tarkovsky had to deal with under the censorship. It's a little intimidating for me to just tell you what makes this movie such a mammoth accomplishment in this little video. So if you have the patience for a 3-hour movie, and if you want to see what the Soviets were up to, what their filmmakers were up to, this is among the films to check out. Okay. Highly underrated movie, a film that I wanted to get on physical media for a while, but there was no American release, not until Criterion came out with one, and thank God that they did. I could get into a lot about the political context of this movie, the political content, how this really captures a moment in time for the country of Poland. But honestly, for me, my love of this film just comes down to how damn charismatic the lead actor is. Okay, this is not only one of the best films. This is not only one of the best films in Criterion's catalog. It just frankly is one of my favorite releases of theirs, The Battle of Algiers. It's a 2-disc release. It comes in this wonderful digibook packaging, and a very, very thick booklet. I can't recommend this release enough. Now we're getting into cult classic territory. Here we have Brian De Palma's Blowout, the movie that killed John Travolta's career and saved it at the same time. It kind of killed it because it bombed, but This was quickly also hailed by critics as one of Travolta's best movies, one of his best performances, something I would agree with. And this is the movie that would get Tarantino to cast Travolta in Pulp Fiction and give him that famous second wind. And it even comes with De Palma's first feature, Murder a la Mode, as one of the supplements, along with, an interview with Nancy Allen, who's great in the movie. Also, the booklet includes Pauline Kael's review of the movie, her famous review of Blowout, which again kind of critically cemented this as one of John Travolta's and Brian De Palma's finest works. I don't think this movie needs any introduction. Blue Velvet by David Lynch, a comeback movie of sorts after Dune really disappointed people and really flopped hard with critics. Now, whenever you get a David Lynch release, and this will come up a few times, you got to know there are no scene selections. David Lynch wants you to experience the film in one sitting, which is how he deems that it's meant to be. And we got a very tasteful, I don't know if this is a digibook because it's not a book, it's just like this kind of it's so thin, it's almost like a pamphlet-y sort of thing. Great special features on here, both about the making of Blue Velvet and, things that look back on David Lynch's career. So, as a David Lynch fan, you'll hear that more than once. Highly recommended. Okay, Blow Up from Michelangelo Antonioni. Only film I've seen of this filmmaker, who was famously a very challenging director. Even other prestigious filmmakers would often say that he was the most boring or the most unwatchable of the great directors of the time. Shots fired. Something about the material of this package. I love to pull this movie out and just run my hands across it. It is the most satisfying, soft feeling. Don't know what they did for this. I kind of wish every movie got this kind of treatment from them, but Blow Up is a very worthy title for such pristine packaging. Okay, this is a classic movie where you can believe the hype. Citizen Kane, I've seen this a number of times. Every year in film school, they show you Citizen Kane, so I've seen it at least 5 times. And I never get bored of it. I never get tired of it. And what a release that the Criterion Collection has given such a prestigious title. I mean, it's actually a little convoluted. It's a little precarious to open this up and, actually pull out the DVD. But they had to go all out. I just wish it was a little more intuitive about folding it back up here. I got it wrong. I think I have to put the E before the N. Okay, I actually got it in only a few tries then, which is a big improvement for me. Boom! Do the Right Thing. Yeah, if you're gonna release Do the Right Thing, you need something that really feels like a book to me, because this is like a literary work to me. And since I'm far from the first person and far from the first Caucasian to talk about how much this movie educated me, I'm just gonna talk about the release. And it comes with this fat booklet. Yeah, it contains Spike Lee's director's journal throughout the production of Do the Right Thing. So really can't recommend this one enough. I also hear that the Malcolm X release is also excellent, and I hope to add that to my library soon. We got 2 David Lynch movies back to back. Eraserhead, his debut, and then The Elephant Man, his sophomore film. One established him as one of cinema's greatest weirdos, with a mind palace to be cherished. And then the other showed his emotional versatility and the fact that he's actually a big old softie. Once again, the material that they've made it with is just really nice. If you're a David Lynch fan, go out to the Criterion shelves and pick up these releases. A movie I need more people to know about and more people to see, Menace to Society. This is the Goodfellas to Boys in the Hood's Godfather. If you know, you know. One of their cooler concepts, for a release, because you can slide it out. No, it comes with a booklet. Fortunately, it also comes with their little bifold booklet. It's Menace to Society. Give it give it a booklet, give it a proper booklet, or give it one of those booklets that turns into a poster. At least I can hang that up. I get some use out of that. Next up, we have another Andrei Tarkovsky, and this one is very much about his childhood and his experiences growing up in Soviet Russia. And you also get an entire documentary about Tarkovsky made by his son, Andrei A. Tarkovsky. You know what's better than one samurai movie? 6. Here we have it, the Lone Wolf and Cub sextology. These were adapted from a manga, which I also have around here somewhere. These are the kinds of samurai movies that inspired Quentin Tarantino when making Kill Bill, this and Lady Snowblood. This has comic book style out the wazoo. You know, I think it's a $100 retail sale, but $50 for the half off Criterion sale. So wait until the sale and go out and get this, especially if you love a good samurai movie. Who doesn't love a good samurai movie? This is, of course, a biography and quasi series of adaptations of the works of Yukio Mishima, a celebrated Japan novelist who committed seppuku in protest of what he saw as Japan's social degradation. Yukio Mishima is a man so fascinating that a movie had to be made about him, and Paul Schrader had to be the man to make it. And look at this beautiful artwork, man. A lot of people like to give Criterion flack for their cover art. That's something I should have been touching on more of, but can't find anything to complain about here. This might be my favorite Criterion release, The Princess Bride. My wife introduced me to this. This is the movie we saw on our first proper date, and my love for it has just grown exponentially with every viewing, and now it really is just a part of me. And Criterion gave it the works. Look at this storybook formatting. Like, oh my God, how brilliant of a tribute is that to this film? This is a must-have right here. For a while, this was my favorite release of Criterion's, Alex Cox's Repo Man. This is a cult classic that's so esteemed and reputable that it had to be on Criterion. It was really the only brand that would be worthy of this movie's iconic stature within the community of film nerds. And I cannot get enough of the artwork they gave this movie's release. Look at the inside of the booklet, and then the journal they gave it. I mean, I can just flip through this thing and my eyes will be pleased. This is exactly the kind of movie that they release. Like, I love looking at all of this, and it's more minimalist. But just buy it, just to have it. So this is Vampire, made by Carl Theodor Dreyer, who is more famous for directing The Passion of Joan of Arc, which is acclaimed as possibly being the greatest silent film of all time. And then he also made one of the greatest vampire movies of all time. Not greatest vampire movie in terms of, you know, I think what we expect from a vampire movie. I don't even remember if we see fangs in this film. This is just one of the most eerie things I've ever seen put to celluloid. I have to imagine this was a profound influence on David Lynch. If not, then David Lynch might be the reincarnation of Mr. Dreyer here. So not only do you get the movie itself, right? Which comes with its own booklet inside here. Okay, so you think, all right, pretty cool, but standard Criterion release. Not so. Because then you also get this monster booklet, which has not only a short story, Carmilla, which is one of the, you know, kind of prototypical vampire stories, but you also have the fucking screenplay in here. Like, you can actually read the screenplay to Vampire. One of the only times I've seen Criterion do that. And now it makes me wish they did that all the time. Though, honestly, that would probably make it at least $20 more on average. For a movie that's, you know, its stature is still growing, but still not a huge title yet. The fact that they gave Vampire such a respectful treatment shows just how in the know those folks at Criterion are. Of all, I think this is maybe the most recent movie I have in the collection. I might be missing one, but Uncut Gems, we all know what a fucking anxiety attack this movie is, and it's been now preserved by Criterion. Any case, I'm too relaxed and I need to experience the sheer tension of this movie. Again, cool release. You would expect nothing less from a movie that is so hot right now. It's like, and how could I forget what might be my favorite movie of all time? So, yeah, this is a big one. No movie has shaped my sense of humor more than this film. And boy, oh boy, when I heard that Criterion was doing a proper release of this, the rejoice that I had, because it just had this, it had a VHS release for a long time that I literally wore out. And then a DVD release that was nothing to write home about. And then voila, this really cool 3-disc release that I have. BTS photos galore, a retrospective essay on Richard Lester, the underappreciated director behind this movie. So yeah, I had to mention that. Question: what's better than 6 samurai movies? 24. This is the entire Zatoichi collection. Why I say entire, I think there was a movie in 1989 that is not included here, but the original run of the 24 Zatoichi movies made between like 1960 and 1975, I want to say. This was actually something I chased for a while, and I thought it was out of print. So I didn't really think I would ever get to own this. It costs like $250 retail price. And then one day during the Criterion sale, I just look it up on Barnes & Noble's website, and lo and behold, they can ship it to me. This is just the fucking best, you know? This is, I mean, 24 Zatoichi movies, 24 movies about a blind samurai, all of this cool, you know, supplementary stuff, this booklet. And here they are, all the Zatoichi movies, given a little colorful page each. Get that back in there. Come on. Okay. This beautiful thing is the World of Wong Kar-wai. Just wow. When you open up this thing, it's like a monster release. Okay, so I'm a little scared to mess with it too much. So it comes with these 2 things. One is the actual booklet containing his movies, but you got to fold it up in the right way. Yeah, you got to fold it up like, got to drag it out like here. So it's another one of those kind of convoluted designs as far as the actual accessibility of the discs, but I really wouldn't have it any other way. This part of the release still kind of puzzles me because it's this really cool, you know, I think they're it's just like supposed to be a, you know, production stills at first, but then it's like, do you see this? These really thick pages, and then you reach in and there's actually something within the pages. You reach in the page and you produce photos, like stills from the movies. And I've just never seen that before, because it's like literally like pages within pages of production stills. I mean, it's like they just had to stuff this, you know, fill this to the brim of material, because that's what Wong Kar-wai deserves, right? So can't complain. I remember the day this came out. I remember going to the Barnes & Nobles, and for some reason I was scared it would be instantly sold out. It was a pretty hot item at the time, if you were in the know. I saved the best for last. Okay, so I have the Showa era Godzilla collection. This is a massive collection of all of the Showa era Godzilla movies. In case you're not a nerd like me, you know, there are 3 eras, maybe 4 now, with Godzilla -1, but many eras of Godzilla movies, starting with the Showa era, which ran from 1954 to 1974. You might call these movies dated, and I would call you a sourpuss. Why are you ruining the fun of Godzilla versus Hedorah? Why are you ruining the fun of Godzilla versus Megalon? I have so many feelings about this Criterion release. Look at that. I love seeing this. I wake up to the sight of this. I wake up, I look over, see Godzilla breathing fire, but not directly from his mouth, but just breathing fire, like emitting fire through the side of his, through the side of his face. I look at this and I'm just happy. I'm just glad to be alive. I mean, I get that they had to all be slits, but that they had to all be on the same page, that they had to be crowded like this. And I don't know. I think they overthought this one, to be honest. So grateful to have this, so grateful that it exists, but in terms of accessibility to the discs, it's one of the worst. And I hate to say that, but it is one of the most frustrating releases in that department. And finally, to end this on I guess the film broiest note, every single Ingmar Bergman movie. This I don't even know what to say about this release. Like, if only I could communicate how heavy this thing was. And it so easily avoids the problem that the Godzilla package has. Look, the discs are not clumped all together. I guess that would... Whew. You see so much of my bank account on these shelves. I mean, there's no organization that I have devoted more money to, more of my own personal funds to, than the Criterion Collection. Shot Factory, that's a close second. So I hope you guys enjoyed that walk through my own private Criterion closet, as it were. Gosh, you know, I've spent so much money and I only have a fraction of their library. I only have a small fraction, 2-3-ish shelves worth. So obviously when I become a millionaire, when that inevitably happens, I know what I'm doing. I'm just walking into that closet and I'm saying, I want them all. Just ship them all to me. But I want to ask you guys, what are your favorite Criterion releases? What are your least favorite? And when the next sale comes around, what are some releases that you plan to buy? I really want Richard Linklater's Before trilogy. You know, I think that's the one I'm most jealous of when I see it in someone else's collection. Thank you so much for, you know, watching me revisit my collection. Let me know your Criterion favorites in the comments below.